Welcome to this Maths Made Easy video on cumulative frequency and box plots. To start with, let's take a look at cumulative frequency graphs. Now suppose we have a table showing the classes and frequencies, such as we would have for histograms. Well, we can find the cumulative frequency by adding on a column in which we add up the frequencies as we go. And to create a cumulative frequency graph, we simply plot these cumulative frequencies as y values against the top of each class as x values. Finally, we join these points up with straight lines. And we can also estimate the interquartile range from these graphs. We simply draw lines from the y-axis at n over 4, so n over 4, and 3n over 4, so 3n over 4. Okay, and we simply find the corresponding x values, and this gives us our quartile. So remember, n over 4, that gives us q1, our first quartile, and this gives us q3, our third quartile, or our upper quartile as we might call it. Okay, so that gives us everything we need there for cumulative frequency graphs. Moving on now to take a look at box plots. Now for box plots, there's a few important things that we need from the data. So first, what we need is our quartile. So we need q1, our lower quartile, we need q2, which represents the median, and we also need q3, the upper quartile. So we need q1, the lower quartile, we need q2, the medium, this is the medium, and we also need q3, our upper quartile. Okay, we also need a few other things, but for now, let's just take a look at an example of a box plot, and we can also see the remaining information that we need. So here, this is an example now of a typical box plot. We can see we've got q1, q2, the median, and q3 here as the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile. So that's represented by these lines here. Okay, so this is the median, this is q1, the first quartile, and this is q3. We also have some other bits of information that we need here. So like we can see, this value here, this is the lowest non-outlier value. So this here, that gives us the lowest non-outlier value. And similarly, we've got the highest non-outlier value, okay, at the top of the data. And then remaining here, like we can see from this diagram, is we have outliers here. Okay, so these outliers, we mark them with crosses, okay, and that's to symbolize that that's an outlier, okay. And what we can also see here is we have another outlier at the top here, okay. And that gives us our outlier there, okay. So that's just a typical example of what we might see for a box plot. But remember, the most important parts here, we need q1, q2, q3. We need to see the lowest non-outlier value and the highest non-outlier value, and we also want to mark any outliers with crosses. And that gives us everything we need for box plots there, and that concludes this Maths Made Easy video on cumulative frequency and box plots.